Hello. All right. Lynn. Oh, Dave's here too. All right, Dave. Okay, that's good. I'm glad you're here, Dave. I hope you're feeling good. Super important to take care of ourselves. So even if we have a little time out, we've got to get back to the time in, right? Take care of our package. Pat, good morning. Yes, happy Easter. For those of you that celebrate Easter, Joanne, good morning. Hello, hello. All right. How is everyone doing? How are you feeling? I've got something really lovely planned for today. So, um, I was doing a lot of research this morning and came up with a lot of stuff that I'd love to share. Some that I haven't shared in a while. Good morning, Stevie. Yes, happy Passover. Um, Pesach, right? Is it happy Pesach? What do you say for Easter? I mean, sorry, for Passover. I think it's happy Pesach, right? Anyway. Yes, okay. All right. Great. Well, I feel like I look lopsided. I feel like that looks lopsided. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm lopsided. All right, I'm gonna go back there. Okay, Pesach. Happy Pesach. All right, let me go back here. Back to my post. All right. Perfect. Well, happy whatever. Happy whatever it is you're celebrating whenever you're celebrating anything. And how nice it is that we have a lot of things to celebrate. That's what I want to say. Okay. So today's practice, I definitely have some things in store for you. I think that whatever, because I put the word stress into the name of this class, it makes me think of certain things. And because it's behind every breakdown aspect, it's behind every disease and issue we have in our tissues and issue we have in our lives. It's a part of everything. And this week in particular, I don't know why, but I've had a lot of conversations with people where there's so much scarcity and fear in them, so much hopelessness, so much fear. And, part of that is news watching and the stories that we're hearing or reading. So there's that aspect that happens. I hear it, like whether I'm interacting with fellow health coaches in my health coach space and we're going back and forth with questions, and then there's something that happens there. I could just tell, like, oh, they're watching this, or oh, they're watching that, because of the information that's out there. And anyway, there's just a lot. So there's just a lot there for us to deal with. Okay, so can we just right now, before we do anything else, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take away the visual. You could still hear my voice, but you're taking away the visual, which is a huge stimulator to the nervous system. It's a very big supply chain to the nervous system, is the optic nerve. One of, if not the most supply that the brain receives is from the optic nerve. And I'm going to say present moment, right now. You also have that subconscious, invisible background stimulation to your brain, which is going to contribute to stress. So that's off the table right now. We're closing our eyes. We're coming right here to where we are, noticing if there's sounds around you other than my voice. Notice if those sounds are human or bird or even animal. This is the only thing that's real right now, right here. This is it. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not real yet. It might not ever be. We don't know what yesterday, tomorrow, none of that matters. It's not even tangible, real. The only our senses with how the feel, smell, touch, taste, sound. So right now, bathe yourself in present moment senses. The eyes are closed. You could look inside if you'd like. You could turn on your inner eyeballs to explore your body, to look for where you have something to heal or repair. You could go to the place of feel, and maybe your body right now is like, wow, this is tough sitting here. My this hurts, my that hurts. Or maybe it's nothing, and you're like, wow, I feel at peace in my body. Can you smell anything? And then go to your mouth. Do you taste anything left over from your last meal? Bring your awareness to your eyelids. They're touching right now. I want you to feel the top and the bottom eyelids touching. And then allow them to blink themselves open. That was a present moment break. Something that you can incorporate into your life always. And that's what I would say that I do often when things are happening in my life. I yourself and bring yourself to here before you start letting your places that will contribute to all the stuff that we don't want to happen in our body or our mind or our soul. So that present moment check-in senses is a good thing to do. So if you were sitting with me with bent knees, bend your knees for a second. Maybe you're on all fours, letting your legs go back. Maybe you're sitting on your tushy and you let your legs go straight to let the fluids go back down to the feet. Whatever it is you're doing, unclog, unkink your hoses. Okay, so I'd like you to gather some props. We are going to use the chair. We are going to go to standing in today's practice to take the stress of tightness, lack of range of motion, and immobility. So I guess range of motion has a lot to do with that as well. But mobility, not just joints, but everywhere, wherever there's movement. So we're going to clear the cobwebs. We're going to do that with standing because weight bearing can actually have a little bit of a more profound, deeper stretch. So we're going to use the chair. Also, I want to focus on back health and strengthening the back because that is what really holds you up, gets you to go through your days. So the chair will come in handy for that. We will need a block and a strap. So take those off to the side. And then we're going to begin with a blanket. We always need at least one blanket. Today, I'm going to use 2 blankets. So get your blankets and get them ready. I'm going to begin with my legs up the chair, and I'm going to put a blanket underneath my tushy because that just feels good for my body, the height of my body in relation to a chair. So get your blankets, whatever you need. And we are going to begin today in a seated position before we come to the ground, before we go to the chair. We're going to begin in a seated position with a breath to kind of get everything flowing and open. So you could either sit on your chair if you have a chair, or you could sit on a blanket and come into a seated position, whatever that means for you. I would like you to be erect for this part and sitting upright. So if sitting like this is uncomfortable, if the hips don't like this, the knees don't like this, you could put a block or something underneath your knees if you needed, or blankets or rolled up towels, or have a seat in the chair. So whatever it is, I'd like you to come to a seated position so that you are nice and upright. And I'd like to share a breath with you. This breath that we're going to do is called, people call it humming breath here in the West, right? So humming breath or bumblebee breath. And the Sanskrit term for this breath is Brahmari. And so we are going to practice this. And I want to share with you before we do why we are. When we hum, especially if you're very nasally and you allow that real strong vibrational resonance to take place right in the nostril area, the sinus cavity, your body will actually release a molecule called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a vasodilator. So it opens up the blood vessels, which is going to increase flow. So it's good for helping your heart. It's going to allow for more flow of your fluids. So the less blood pressure, less need for the heart to push harder to get the blood to travel through the circulatory system. So it's good for heart health. It's good for stimulating relaxation in the nervous system. It's good for liver health and other organs and systems, because as it opens up the blood vessels, it's going to unblock the flow. And then when I was researching nitric oxide, it became one of like the biggest molecules in the early 2000s when it was discovered, or maybe not discovered, but attention was placed on it, because it had a strong relationship, I think, to Viagra, because it's known to increase testosterone production and it is a vasodilator. So I think it gained a lot of popularity in that space. For our intention, we definitely need testosterone, all of us. It's the hormone of confidence. It's part of why it's harder to drive as we age. You know, we don't feel quite as confident to drive at night, to drive in tunnels, to drive near big trucks. So we want that confidence hormone, you know, like those little rascally teenage boys, it seems, or younger kids who seem to feel like they're just like, they're just do crazy stuff. Not that we want to do crazy stuff, but we want to still be able to do stuff without having fear. So nitric oxide helps to boost a testosterone production, helps to open up blood vessels. So that's going to be great for your heart, for so many things. And it also, the blood vessels of the, and the walls of the lining of the respiratory tract, it also helps to dilate that. So we allow for more ease of breath in the throat and in the lungs. So it can be really, really great. It's called Bromary, bumblebee breath, humming breath. And lots of research is now proving the efficacy and the therapeutic aspects of this breath. I want you to close your eyes once we begin. We're going to keep the mouth closed. We're going to, on the entire exhale, we're going to for your entire exhale. And I want you to pay attention to your exhale, and I want you to pay attention to what's happening. So be very focused here, especially here. It could be here too, but try to really keep it in the, do that right now. See what the difference is, where you go, and you feel it here, vibrating the vocal cords. Then try to bring it up a little bit more nasally, where you really feel it vibrating here. It's really weird when you start to go into the nasal cavity and you feel that vibration there. So let's do the Brahmari bumblebee humming breath. Find a comfortable seat. If you need to take your legs and move them because you're feeling a little bit of numbness. I also was reading about deficiencies in nitric oxide, and it says that numbness can be experienced when there's a deficiency in nitric oxide. And it also helps to support melatonin secretion, which is going to help with that circadian rhythm. Some numbness, and the other one was brain fog, brain health. And I thought, oh my, if for nothing else, let's keep our brains active and healthy and robust forever. So this can be our brain breath as well, clearing up, allowing openness of all the tubes, the vessels, and the flow in your body energetically and physically, like lymph and blood and all the stuff that moves around. So when you are in the seated position, let your elbows go underneath your shoulders. That'll help to support posture. So slide your hands back, elbows are under the shoulders. Now the shoulder blades are on your upper back, helping to hold you upright. Find a comfortable seated position. Let your pelvis be heavy, your body be heavy, and then lengthen your spine. Let's take an exhale to make a lot of space. Inhale. Finish up your last few breaths. Finish your last breath. Keep your eyes closed. Finish your breath. Let your body go back to a natural pace of breath and notice what you notice. Bring your awareness to your hands. Let's rub the hands together. Cover your eyes. Allow your eyes to blink themselves open. So that was a few breaths of Brahmari. A few breaths in a few minutes. So a little bit less than even the 3 minutes is what we did that practice in. And I want you to just notice what you notice. Notice if you feel relaxation in the upper part of your body, your eyes especially. Really need to give our eyes a break because we use them so often. So notice what you're experiencing right now. When I learned this, well, I learned it a long, long time ago, but I practiced this in India with the world's probably, I think they say oldest, because I think he's in his 90s maybe, or high 80s, pranayama teachers. And when I did it, I asked the question, what if you experience this on one side more than the other? And his answer to me was, stop thinking. This is not to be in your mind. You're not focusing. Just notice what you notice about, like, what is your mind doing when this happens, and really focus your mind, especially trying to get it here very nasal. And that can be a really great tool for you to have in your toolbox when it comes to stress management, when it comes to headaches. This actually can help because it opens up the blood vessels that go up into the brain. And so don't do it when you have a headache. Practice this with when you don't have a headache, so that that can maybe help to release and open up your blood vessels. Because stress actually constricts, right? It contracts. And we want to do things that actually open, expand, and dilate. So try that, buzzing of the bees, Brahmari breath. Okay, so I'm going to go down onto the ground and put my legs up the chair. You could do a chair, or you could put your legs on pillows, or pillows underneath your knees. Really nice to bring some support into your practice, because it actually feels like a real great act of self-care, self-love, self-compassion, and we need more of that. So bringing in the props actually kicks it up enough to feel cared for by ourselves. Okay, so let's come down onto the ground. You're gonna have a blanket for the back of your head. You're gonna let your spine be on the ground. And then start to arrange yourself. If you do put your legs up a chair, you want the backs of the knees to be right at the edge of the chair, so the weight of your legs is fully taken over. And then you're going to use a blanket underneath your tushy to let your body raise and put yourself a little elevated. Maybe you are, and maybe you're not going to do that. If you're 5'3" or below, you're definitely going to need that, or 5'4", you need the support here to make it a little more comfortable. For those of you that are tall, decide and slide the shoulder blades closer to the spine so that your shoulder blades lay flat on the ground, and you could stretch some of the tightness that may exist for you up in the upper body.
Your choice here, hands could be on the belly if you want to ground your mental energy, have something to focus on. The days that you have a lot of mental energy and activity, it's nice to give your mind something to focus on. So having the hands on the belly will direct your breath to the hands and help to focus your mental energy. And the other option is to take the arms out to the side, keep the shoulder blades where they are, you're resting on them. Let the arms go up and out to the side and begin to experience a stretch across the chest, across the front shoulders, shoulder blade area, front of the spine, wherever you may experience it. Close your eyes and start to let your body weight yield to gravity. You can let your legs be a little wider, knees pointing out to the sides. That's even more relaxation in the hip joint. And that'll help for those of you with low back issues. That externally rotated hip joint may be helpful, or if not, you can come back to that neutral position. Knees are forward and maybe even a little internally rotated towards each other. So play with the leg position according to what your needs are. And close your mouth. Feel the body starting to get heavy. Bring your awareness to the left leg. Let the left foot, left ankle, left lower leg, left knee and left upper leg relax. Let the entire left leg relax. The right foot, the right ankle, the right lower leg, right knee, right upper thigh, and the entire right leg. Let it be heavy. Bring your awareness to your pelvis. Let your pelvis be heavy. Feel the connection of the back of the pelvis to whatever it's touching and let it go. Bring your awareness to your lower back. Breathe down to your lower back. Breathing down, straight down towards the spine, and allow the breath to go to the right and the left, the whole lower back. Bring breath down there. Bring a gentle, deep stretch to your lower body, to your lower back. Bring your awareness to your low belly. Couple of breaths. Feel the belly moving towards the floor, towards the spine when you exhale. Let it go. Let the muscles relax. Bring your awareness to the middle back and the upper back. Let your spine be heavy. Feel the relaxation as you let go of your spine, any holding, any residual holding. Let the vertebra relax, the muscles that stabilize and mobilize your back, let them relax, especially all the stabilizers holding you up, sitting, standing, walking. Heavy spine. Bring your awareness to your left hand, left wrist, left lower arm, left upper arm, left shoulder. Let your entire left arm relax. Bring your awareness to your right hand, right wrist, right lower arm, right elbow, right upper arm, right shoulder. Let your right arm be heavy. Feel the heaviness of the arm against the ground or whatever it's touching. Bring your awareness to your torso. Let your torso be heavy. The pelvis, the spine, the rib cage. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Bring your awareness to your neck. Long front neck, long back neck, long sides. And the throat is relaxed. Your neck muscles are relaxed. Not holding your head on top of your body. Let it go. Bring your awareness to your head. Feel the heaviness of your head. It weighs about 10 pounds on average. Feel that. Feel the weight as you let go of holding your head up. Let your awareness go up and down your body. You have heavy arms, heavy legs, heavy torso, heavy head. Let everything go. Like you're floating in a pool. Feel that sense of weightlessness. Let your awareness be on your body. Feel its heavy, heavy body. Or weightless. If you let go. Now use your breath to let you feel light. As you breathe in, let the breath go everywhere, to the fingertips and to the toes, and to the crown of the head, like you're a 5-pointed star. Breathe into your fingertips, to your toe tips, to the crown of your head. Breathe in and let the breath go to all of those 5 points. And breathe out, let all that energy come back to your belly. Starting at your belly, breathing in, let the breath go to the fingertips, the toe tips, and the crown of the head. Feel the belly rise. And as you breathe out, come back to center. To the belly. 3 more breaths like this. finishing your last breath. Bring your awareness to your neck as you take a big inhale. And as you exhale, let your head roll towards one side, noticing a stretch in the neck, maybe even the upper back. You inhale slowly to come back up to center. You exhale slowly to let your head move towards one direction. Moving with breath, the inhale brings you back to center. The exhale takes you deeply into your stretch. One more in each direction, closing your eyes, feeling that release of tension in the upper back and neck. We spend our day from the minute we lift our head up off the bed, our body has to manage holding this 10-pound object up. And imagine how much tension that can create in the muscles of the upper back and neck. And then it goes down to the lower back because the erector muscle group has to balance your head. Let's take your fingers and your toes. And then if you're doing activities where your head is looking down forward, the stabilizing muscles have to work even harder to hold up our head in that forward position, putting all that pressure on our body and on our spine and all our muscles. So there's a term I like to say when we get issues in our tissues, especially our back, our upper neck. I like to say the term "nae bloody wonder," because that's what my mom and dad say. They're Scottish. And if something happens in your life, like if a kid touches a flame and gets burned, you would say, "Nae bloody wonder you got burnt. I told you not to touch that. It's a fire." So you say, "Nae bloody wonder," like no wonder this is happening. So if we have this head of ours that we have on top of our body and we're not even thinking about where we're putting it, we're asking our body to manage that. And that's going to translate into a lot of issues, especially issues in the back, which I see a lot of people have. All right, let's bend your knees. If your feet are on a chair, take the blanket out to the side if you had one under you. If you have pillows or anything under you, you could leave them there if they're underneath your legs. You want the blanket to be behind your head. We're going to focus on this midsection and focus on warming up the abdominals, waking up the abdominals, because you need a strong girdle or corset of muscles to stabilize, to protect your body. And so this right here, really working on this part of our body, will be amazing for low back health, for middle back health, for upper back and neck health, for hip joint health, for knee health, for feet, and for ankles. And then also for stuff that happens in the arms, for shoulders. Did I mention shoulders? Okay, so let's really work on this core here. When we're in the chair, it's nice. If you're not on a chair, can you bring your legs up? We're going to be bringing ourselves up to a 90-90. So if you are on the ground, bending your knees, feet are flat. Let's take the arms and go side to side so you slide your shoulder blades closer to your spine. So you're very narrow across the top. Then the fingers go up towards the sky. I want you to push your arms towards the ground and push your spine towards the ground where the rib cage is, so much so that you actually feel a little posterior tilt in the pelvis. Push as you push strongly your spine towards the ground, and then bring that into the lower spine as well. Push the low back towards the ground. Still have your feet either on the ground or on the chair, and then release. Again, contract your muscles. So think of a corset wrapping around from the back to the front, and then you're going to zipper up the center of it, really tighten it. Or if it was a corset like the women used to wear in, I don't know, maybe early 20th century and then earlier than that, where you would have to, they would pull the strings, or even think about shoes. When you're lacing up your shoes, you start at the bottom and then you get closer to the top and you tighten so that you feel that tightness. I want you to think about that action in your body. So all the way around, wrapping from the very back to the front, is a corset of muscles, lots of muscles. So when you do come into this contraction, let them hug together, like hugging your lumbar spine, and then pushing your spine towards the ground. Hands are up. Inhale to be soft and to be relaxed. Exhale to contract your core, pressing your low spine, your middle spine, and your upper spine towards the ground. The neck is off the ground. Inhale to release. Exhale to contract. When you do core work, your work is on the contraction, when you can activate the muscles. When you inhale, the diaphragm is expanding, which is attached to the lower ribs. So you don't want to do your hard core work when you're inhaling. You want to do your intensity in your core work when you're exhaling. I get asked that question often. Inhale, soften and release. Exhale, contract, push low back towards the ground, push the middle back towards the ground. That's the beginning of warming up your core and core work. Maybe that's what you need right now. If you're able to do more, we're going to add a little challenge to the core. Inhale. As you exhale, let your feet float off the chair or lift off the ground as you press the low back into the ground, middle back, upper back, and then inhale to release. Let everything go. Exhale, contract, zipper up your midsection, tighten up your corset. Press your spine to the ground. Inhale to release. Exhale to activate. Go slow here. Close your eyes. Feel what's happening in your body. Feel all that work. Inhale to release. As if you were making a tight fist, try to make it as tight as you can on your exhale. As you contract, press the belly towards the spine, press the low back towards the ground. Inhale to release. Now we're going to add a little bit of holds. Exhale to contract, come into your core, really push like crazy. Now it's time for an inhale. Sip the inhale up towards the heart. Exhale, contract. Inhale, release. Exhale, contract, lift the legs off the floor or the chair if you can. Inhale, sip the breath to the heart. Exhale, reaffirm that deep contraction. Inhale to release. Last one. Exhale, slowly contract. Feel the contraction. Press the low back to the floor. Press the top edge of your pelvis towards the ground. Middle spine, upper spine. Press, press, press. Sip in the breath when it's time for the inhale. Exhale, reaffirm. Let's do one more. Stay here, inhale. Exhale, reaffirm. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Zipper up, zipper up. Tighten, tighten, tighten. And then go ahead and release. Hopefully you're able to feel quite a bit here. The core. Let's do a little diagonal. So let's take the hands behind the head, elbows are out to the side. Lift one leg off the ground in a tabletop position. Now, the closer your leg is to your chest, the more potential for protecting that low back if you have low back issues. If you want something a little bit more strengthening, let your leg be coming right off of your hip. Take an exhale and an inhale. Wait, let's make sure we're on the right side. Okay, so let's lift the right leg up because I want to instruct this for the right leg. So let the right leg be lifted and then activate your joints. So don't let your foot just hang out like a floppy fish and you're not letting your foot hang down. Really let the ankle come straight off the knee and then flex the foot. Press the right elbow into the ground. Take an inhale. As you exhale, press the right elbow into the ground. Lift the left elbow up off the ground. Let the left elbow go towards the right. Keep your spine long and rotate it. And then slowly inhale to lower. Stay here with this leg up in the air. Exhale to lift. Throat is open. Chest is open. Be long and then add that rotation. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Press the right arm into the ground to get a little bit more force. Contract your core. Protect your low back. Zipper, zipper, zipper. Hug your lumbar spine. Last one, exhale to rise. Stay here. Little pulses. When you need to take an inhale, sip it in up towards your heart. On the exhales, reaffirm. Press that right low back towards the ground. And then inhale to lower. Take a break for a second. Feel that right side, the heat that's generated there. Working on those obliques. A lot of injuries happen when people bend forward and then they add rotation to their trunk. So we're going to strengthen the muscles that support your trunk so that we could support everything above and below, which is your entire body. Hands are behind the head. Press the left elbow in towards the ground. Let's bring the left leg up. Knee coming off the hip. Ankle and foot coming right off the knee. Press the left elbow into the ground. Start to feel the stabilization of the muscles on the left side of your body. Take an inhale. And then exhale, press the left elbow in. Lift the body up. Rotate, rotate, rotate over to the left. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Contract your core when you exhale to protect. The exhale rises. The inhale lowers. Last one. You're going to come up and hold. Little pulses. When you need to inhale, sit the breath up high towards the heart. And then go ahead and lower. Bring yourself all the way out. Let your legs relax. Either the legs can be straight if you're on the ground, the knees can be bent. If you have a chair, letting your legs go in the chair. Let's reach for our block. So we're going to do a little rotational work here. So that we did get the obliques with that. I want to go a little bit higher on the trunk. Now the thing with this, we're going to be doing this side to side movement. You got to be really careful here when you do this because you're using your core to stabilize and mobilize. So you're moving and you're trying to stabilize yourself. So this is where you can get into some issues if you have chronic back pain or you're managing something currently. So I ask you, please be gentle with yourself. Let your ego, check your ego at the door. Let's take our ego. Let's grab our ego, the part of us that tries to do more, that tries to prove that we can, that part of us that always wants to be, powerful and do things. Grab your ego, hold your ego, and then I want you to put it right behind you. Place it on the ground or right behind you and let it stay there for a second. Right now, we're going to be doing a lot of self-care with this because I want you to strengthen these muscles without aggravating anything. So take your block, you're going to put it on this level. So not on the narrow level and not on the big level. You want it to be in the middle level, which is the longest part of this rectangle, because this is actually hip joint distance and it's perfect for hip joint distance. So put the block between your legs. Now, if you have a chair, you can actually keep your legs on the chair and maybe go side to side. So I would say beginning level or people with a lot of issues, you could be on the chair. Otherwise, you're gonna let your legs hover. Closer the legs are to the chest, the more forgiving it is for the low back. So if you have low back issues, try that. Right above your pelvis, a little bit more intense. Flex your feet, squeeze the block. Use your hands to help you on the ground here. Now, contract your core like you're hugging your lumbar spine, like you're wrapping from all the way around the back to the front, and then you're gonna zipper up or tie up like you would do a corset or shoelaces for your shoes. Take an exhale. Now we're gonna inhale to the side. This is the soft part of the body. This is when we're in the soft aspect. Now we're gonna contract the muscles, coming back to center, really protecting yourself as you bring yourself back in. You inhale to lengthen with a long waist. Exhale to contract. Hug, hug, hug. Close your eyes. Feel this. Inhale to the side. Exhale back up to center. Close your eyes and feel yourself rocking through the center of your pelvis. Keep your low back close to the ground. Keep your tushy close to the ground. That will help protect the low back. Activate your core like crazy on the way back. Squeeze the block like crazy. Flex the ankles like crazy. Activate and bring a lot of muscles to this movement. One more each side. Bring yourself back to center. Let's take the block off. Draw the knees into your chest. And then let your legs go in the air, either towards straight, coming right out of your pelvis if you're have enough flexibility for that, or you could bend them deeply and even wide so that your low back gets stretched. Let's take the strap. Take your strap, put your strap around both feet. As gracefully as you can, try not to lasso your feet. Try to let your hands place the strap there. Take your strap wide and then pull the knees down towards your body. And if that doesn't work, you could even have the strap behind your upper leg bones, pulling the legs down. This can actually stretch the low back, stretch the glutes, stretch the whole lower spine area. So you're either on your feet or you're behind your thighs. Whatever works for you. And then let's take the strap. We're going to stretch our legs now. Having the chair here is great for those of you that have some tightness in your body, because you could actually have the chair help you, so you could go towards a straight leg maybe. Let's take the right foot, place the strap, don't lasso it. And then you could let the opposite leg rest on the chair and then hold this leg nice and firm. When we're stretching the legs, especially if you're tight, it's better to have even more blankets. So you could fold up the blanket behind your head here. That'll set you up for success if you elevate your head. So that may need to be you. Take your hands down the strap, pull the leg deeply into the socket, and then draw the leg back behind you. Try to keep the leg straight if you can. Push the leg away from you with the muscles of the leg and pull the leg towards the wall behind you. Take one more breath and then release. What I notice is people with tight legs, it's really hard to hold the leg. And if they do try to go straight, the leg is so far away from them. So having the chair there can actually be a great way to stretch and to stretch straight legs. If you do straight leg, then you're actually pulling on the tendons where they attach onto the bones. So you actually create some bone stimulation there, and you'll stretch the tendons too, which can help with injury prevention and tearing and getting that part of your muscle to be loose, which is the tendinous part. All right, let's switch and put the left foot in the strap. Right foot relaxes. Take your hands around. You're going to push the leg away and then draw the leg back. So two opposing actions here. You're pushing away with your leg muscles and then you're drawing it back. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Take your knees up towards the sky. So knees could be bent quite a bit if they need to be, or they could be straight if you have that ability. Point and flex. Point and flex. If you do have the knees straight up towards the sky, you might start to notice heat here in your quads. You'll notice that you have to turn on your stabilizing muscles to support your torso, to support the pelvis. You inhale to point, you exhale to flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Go as big as you can with this movement to feel the stretch coming into the feet, the ankles, really warming up the feet. Then you're going to go in circles. Please go slow. Remember, the ego is back there, gone away from you, placing your ego here. So this is not about how fast you could go. I want you to go slow and be very exploratory. Like you're tiptoeing to look at something. You're really curious. So be very curious here at the tension and tightness that exists in your ankles and lower legs. 70 to 80% of your balance is in this part of your body. Let's go in the other direction. Slow, 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 very exploratory, like you were stirring honey in a jar and there was resistance. And then you'll notice some tension here in the quadriceps. Draw your knees in, go side to side. So if you do have tight hip flexors, if you did have weak leg muscles, having your legs in that position would be a lot of tension. And if you don't manage that tension correctly, it'll go onto the back because one of these muscles is attached to the low back. All right, let's go on to our side. Take your time to calibrate your blood in the vessels to this position. Take your hand on the ground, push away, leading with the shoulder, and bring yourself up to a seated position. So having the chair here, I'd like to work with this chair. If you don't have a chair right now, try to emulate this on the ground. So reaching your hands in the positions that we place our hands in. I'd like to use the chair because it gives a little more access to stretch. So taking your hands at the top of your chair, and if you can't go to the top of the chair, maybe on the arms of the chair, and then see if you can place your head on the chair or your arms up high and maybe your forehead, maybe you walk back and you come to the edge of your chair, or maybe you need to hold on to the sides, maybe the top is too high. Something so you feel a stretch in the shoulder blade area or the chest, and then you push one armpit down at a time towards the ground. Bring your awareness to your core as you zipper, 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 contract, 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 and then push your belly button towards your spine. Try to flatten out that lower back curve. Point the tailbone down towards the ground. Find length here. This is lengthening your spine. So I want you to feel that your pelvis is moving away. You're holding onto your chair and you're lengthening your spine here. Contract your core. Point your tailbone down towards the ground behind you, belly button towards the spine. See if you could feel a lengthening in the back here. Take one more breath. Leading with the head, let your head come up first. Can you take your hand somewhere on the chair and your other hand either grabbing the front of the chair, the leg of the chair, something diagonally across so there's some kind of rotation in the upper trunk. So these are your heart lights and this is your hip light. Try to get your heart lights to turn independently of the hips. So grabbing onto the chair, wherever that is for you in your body, see if you can get some kind of deep stretch in the upper back area, creating length there, resting your head if you can. You could do this on the ground as well. The up top arm is stretched long and bottom arm comes through your body. Deep rest, contract your core, push your belly button back towards your spine, pointing your tailbone down towards the ground. Take one more breath. Let's go to the other side. Take your hand on the chair, bring your hand through and deeply stretch the other side, upper back, armpit area, something somewhere. Take one more breath. Lifting your head first. Let's bring yourself up, up, up. Do a little bit safe practice bending with your hips. So I want your head to be lifted, your hands to be on the chair. Inhale, and then exhale. Push your tushy back. Let your hips bend. Keep your head lifted, and then come up. Bending at the hips. Let your legs be wide. Widen your legs. Now contract your core, zipper, zipper, zipper. Point the tailbone down. So instead of being in a deep back bend in the low back, can you flatten out the low back? And then move yourself back as you bend, letting your low belly come closer to your top thighs. Only bend down as far as your knees will let you. Let this be more about the hip joint bending. Let the low belly come towards the top thighs. Keep your hands here. It'll protect your low back. Keep your head lifted. One more. Contract your core, zipper up your midsection, push your belly button back towards your spine. Try to add flexion to low lumbar as you move down, stretching the back. Keep your head lifted. And then bring yourself up. Noticing what you notice there. I definitely feel a lot of stretching doing this with the chair in my upper back area. So you have to make sure you feel appropriate, and you've really got to contract this lower part of your body and bring it to a place of protection when you're doing all that stretch. So the chair is here. I'd like to practice getting up because it's a super important thing to do. Bring your weakest leg forward, or if you need the strongest, bring the strongest leg forward. Bring your leg forward. Pretty challenging to get up from the ground in this deep of a flexion position in the joints, especially if you don't practice it often. Requires a lot of glute work to get up from here. So you could have your chair here, or you could have like the arm of the chair, or for those of you that need a little extra oomph, come with the back of the chair and put the forearm up against the chair. You want to keep your head up. Don't let this happen. So you're not going to use this upper part of your body in a bent position whatsoever. You're going to challenge the heck out of your lower body. Flip your back toes under. You're either on the chair or on the chair. You're going to look forward. You can let your body weight go back for a second. Take your hand here. Push this hand down like crazy. Come forward, push into the chair wherever you need, and push yourself up. Unbend, unload your joints to a standing position. And then see how you feel. All right, we're going to need the chair. We're going to take the other props away. So bend at your hip joint, keep your back nice and lengthened. Push your belly button towards your spine. So get the chair. Let me see, I feel like I'm too. And was that better? Okay, I think so. All right, so with the chair, we're gonna do crescent pose. So let's take the chair to the side
And then come to the side for a second. Take your toes, point your toes under, stretch the tops of your feet. Now you may need to be back a little farther. You may need to bend the standing leg, whatever you need to do. You're not on the tippy toes, you're bending your toes. Now take those same toes and bend them this way. Come up, lift your heel as high as you can. Feel a stretch on the sole of your foot. Lift up, feel a stretch on the sole of the foot. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. Flipping the toes under, try to stretch the top of the foot. Really get those toenails to touch. Your toes are bent here. Holding onto the chair if you need, or being near a wall if you need. And then let's bend the toes. Really lift the foot up slowly so you feel the stretch going into the sole of the foot and the toes. Okay, now we're working on dancing ankles because we need to have ankles that will be as mobile as they can be. So I'd like you to see if this feels appropriate to you. Maybe a wider stance will feel better, or maybe a narrow stance. So see if you're able to get a little roll here. At the very minimum, push your weight to the pinky toe edges and grab the floor. Feel like you're lifting your arches up away from the ground. If you are able to roll a little bit onto the sides of your feet, you could try that. Just keeping a nice mobility in the ankle area of the feet. Something you could do anytime once you've learned this. And then shake your leg, shake. So let's do the crescent posture. So you're gonna have the chair to your side. Can we all do the same side? Because it'll be a little easier for me to instruct that. Take your right foot forward and your left foot back. Right foot forward, left foot back. The chair is here to keep you nice and erect, to keep your head up. And then you're gonna lift the back heel up and down, up and down, up and down. See if you can feel a stretch in your calf. Can you get both toes to point forward? So notice if your back foot is angled out, try to get it to point forward, and then push the heel down. Let's bring your awareness to the front knee. You're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale slowly, push away from the back foot and bend that front knee. And inhale to straighten. See if you feel the back heel. You feel, the back calf, the back foot. One more. Now you're going to let the heel come off the ground when you come. Maybe you can go a little deeper and you feel a little bit more stretch here in psoas area. When you go down with that front leg, push the heel. Make your stance really wide. Put the pressure coming into the heel so you feel the back of the body, the glute area, the part of you that helps you get up and down from a seated position, whether that's off the ground, from a chair, or all day long off the toilet. Or not all day long, but whenever you're in that position. Take your hand down alongside your body. Exhale. Inhale. Gaze is forward. Arm comes up. In and out so that you are being safe here in your body. Inhale to lengthen. Last one. Inhale to lengthen. Stay here. If you're able to take the other hand up off the chair, take that off. It's a balance pose, crescent pose. Brings a lot of balance challenge to the body. Try to lift your arms up, add a back bend if that's appropriate for you. No ego here, only do what's safe and appropriate for your body. One more breath. Bring your hand down, bring yourself up, and bring your foot forward and out. We're going to go to the other side. Now you're going to have the left foot forward, the right foot back. Pretty wide stance. That's why you have a chair here. So you have the chair to feel pretty safe. Toes are pointing forward. Pretty wide stance. Hand is on the chair. First thing we're going to do is we're going to lift, inhale, and exhale the heel down. Inhale and exhale. So this back knee is what bends here. Inhale and exhale, stretching the calf area. Feel that heel as you push it towards the ground, really deeply stretching the calf, back of the leg. Now we're going to come to that front knee, and it's also going to work the front glute. Take an exhale. Inhale, bend the front knee. Bring yourself forward. Exhale back. Notice if this side feels more limber or more tight. Notice if there is asymmetry in your body. Now the back heel can come up when the knee bends. Inhale, let the back heel lift up. Feel that translate to the psoas area of the foot. Let's let the hand be a part of this. You're going to inhale. Keep your head lifted, keep your throat open. Only bend your knee as far as it feels appropriate for you and your body. Push that front heel into the ground. You're moving into the heel, not into the toes. Keep that in the front glute. Last one, you're going to come down and stay down. Lift your arm up. Your other hand is on the chair, or you lift the other hand up, balancing and lengthening in that body. Noticing what you notice here. Try to add a back bend. Try to lift the lower ribs away from the pelvis. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Bring your hand back down. Bring your back leg forward and come out. Okay, so that is crescent pose. Hopefully that's okay. When I teach that, I get comments either, oh my gosh, my back feels amazing. I can't believe how good I feel. I haven't felt this great in my low back in forever. Or if you go too deeply, if you don't bring in a sense of safety and match your breath with the movement and stay within your appropriate range, it may be a little bit too much for your body that's so used to being in this protective place for you. So this can be good weight bearing to really stretch this part of our body, all of it, right? We did a lot of foot stuff as well, but you also have to really stay in your safe range and notice what you notice when you do your practice, really be in your body. So we're going to come onto the ground now for Shavasana. You could have your legs up the chair if you'd like, or whatever you want to do. So grab your props. Do whatever you need to do before you go into Shavasana. So if you feel that you need to bring your knees into your chest or let your limbs go up in the air and sink into your body, a little jiggle, a little relaxing, letting the weight of the bones sink deep in the joints. And bringing yourself into the Shavasana that you've chosen to be in. Maybe putting your hands on your belly to allow your mind to be aware of the movement of breath in your body. Whatever is appropriate for you.
Govinde, Mukande, Udare, Apare, Hariyam, Kariyam, Nirame, Kame, 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 Govinde, Mukande, Udare, Apare, Hariyam, Kariyam, Nirame, Kame. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring awareness to your hands and your feet as you bring some movement into your fingers and toes. Rolling your ankles and your wrists. And draw your knees into your chest. Rocking side to side. Bring yourself onto your side. Hand on the ground. You're going to push yourself up, coming into a seated position with the eyes closed. We're going to close the practice with sound. So bring your elbows alongside your body, sit nice and tall. From here, elbows at the body, let the hands find each other, maybe lower than usual. And then press the hands towards the heart towards the hands. Lengthen the back neck, close the eyes. Lengthen the back spine, the back neck. We're going to close with the vibration. Feel this vibration come from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. Take an exhale to create space. Deep inhale all the way to the base of the spine. In gratitude, namaste. So I hope that you feel good after today's practice. Lots of stuff happened today in today's practice. So notice what you notice so you can realize what's appropriate for you in your practice. All right. So where are we at? How are you feeling? How was that for you all? Hi, Carolyn. All right. How do you guys feel? Good. I love that, Joanne. That's beautiful. Light and great. Who the heck does not want to be light and great?
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Dave feels great. Wow. That's awesome, Dave. And you could take your breaks from work during the day, standing up, doing crescent pose. Um, good. Oh, good. Yeah. Glad to have you back, Dave. I didn't even know you weren't here. Saying hi to you for months. And now that I know you're back, awesome. We all have to get back up on the horse, because if we don't get back up on the horse, it's a downward spiral, and it sucks to be broken, to be in pain, to not be functional. And if it happens here physically, it's going to happen mentally, emotionally, and then it's just not good. So this is the only life we have. This is it right here. This life we're living. We have to make it be the best we can be, right? The choice is miserable or happy, miserable or happy. It's a choice. You choose it. It's what makes us different than every other species in the animal kingdom, is the freedom of choice. Miserable, happy, miserable, happy. Yeah, it takes work. It takes making good dietary changes and sleep and good choices all day, every day. But it's possible. So, yes. Okay, yeah. So Carolyn, try to do it definitely if you notice one's coming. Not so good when you have a headache, but if you feel something coming, think about like, let me open up my blood vessels and not let that constricted boom, boom, boom happen. Hi, Pat. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're feeling wonderful too. All right, everyone. Thank you. And see you later. Bye.